At 6:14 a.m. local time, the Persian Gulf was still. Visibility was 11 nautical miles. The surface radar aboard USS Mason, an Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer, operating 4 nautical miles ahead of the Eisenhower carrier strike group, showed routine commercial traffic along the standard shipping corridor between Bahrain and the Strait of Hormuz. 14 cargo vessels, 6 tankers, 2 fishing trawlers drifting south of Farsi Island. Nothing unusual. The watch officer completed his rotation log and handed the station to his relief. At 6:17, the Spy 1D radar registered a new cluster of surface contacts emerging from behind Farsi Island. Small returns. Fast-moving, 12 of them. They were not following any commercial shipping lane. They were heading directly south at 47 knots, arranged in a loose formation spanning approximately 800 meters wide, aimed at the center line of the Eisenhower strike group's forward screen. 12 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Navy fast attack craft, Boghammar-class and Peykaap-class vessels, each between 9 and 15 meters in length, each capable of speeds exceeding 50 knots, each carrying either a twin-mounted 12.7 mm heavy machine gun, a 107 mm rocket pod, or, in 2 confirmed cases, a nose-mounted warhead configured for ramming detonation. The distance between the lead boat and USS Mason at the moment of detection was 14.2 nautical miles. At 47 knots, that distance would close to zero in approximately 18 minutes. This was not the first time Iranian fast boats had approached a U.S. naval formation in the Persian Gulf. In the previous 8 months, there had been 23 documented close-approach incidents, each involving 1 to 3 boats that came within 500 meters of a U.S. warship before veering away. Every single one of those incidents had ended without a shot fired. The boats approached. The Navy issued warnings. The boats turned. A pattern, a routine. 12 boats moving simultaneously in formation was not routine. It was not harassment. It was a coordinated swarm. To understand why a 1-2 boat swarm represented a fundamentally different tactical problem than 3 boats conducting harassment, one must understand how a destroyer's close-in defense systems prioritize threats. The phalanx CIWs and the ship's 25 mm chain guns can engage surface targets effectively, but they engage them sequentially, one at a time. Against a single approaching boat, the engagement sequence is simple: track, warn, engage, neutralize. Against 3 boats approaching from the same general direction, the sequence remains manageable. Prioritize by distance, engage the closest, shift to the next. Against 12 boats approaching simultaneously from a spread formation covering 800 meters of ocean surface, the sequential engagement model encounters a mathematical problem. If each engagement takes 4 to 6 seconds from trigger to confirmed kill, and 12 boats are closing at 47 knots, minus 24 meters per second, then, during the 48 to 72 seconds required to engage all 12 sequentially, the rearmost boats have covered an additional 1,152 to 1,728 meters of distance toward the ship. The swarm does not need all 12 boats to reach the target. It needs the defensive system to be occupied long enough for 1 or 2 boats to close the final distance. This is the mathematics of saturation, not technological superiority. Simple arithmetic applied to engagement sequencing. At 6:18, USS Mason transmitted the first warning on VHF Channel 16. Iranian vessels on course 194, you are approaching a United States naval warship. Alter course immediately, or you will be subject to defensive measures. No response. Speed unchanged. Formation unchanged. At 6:19, Mason activated its long-range acoustic device, the LRAD, broadcasting a 153 decibel warning tone across the water. The sound carried across 3 nautical miles of open ocean. The 12 boats maintained course. At 6:21, Mason's commanding officer transmitted the second radio warning and simultaneously ordered the ship's 5.0 caliber warning shots fired across the bow of the lead formation group. 3 bursts. The rounds struck the water 200 meters ahead of the lead boat, sending visible plumes into the air. The 12 boats did not alter course. Distance to Mason, 6.4 nautical miles. Time to contact at current speed, 8 minutes. At 6:22, the Eisenhower Strike Group commander authorized weapons free for the forward screen. The order traveled through the tactical data link to Mason and to USS Nitze, a second destroyer positioned 3 nautical miles to Mason's port side. Both destroyers trained their 25 mm Mk-38 chain guns and 5.05 caliber mounts on the approaching formation. Fire control radars locked the 12 targets. The phalanx CIWs remained on standby, reserved for anything that penetrated the outer engagement zone. At 6:24, the formation split. The 12 boats divided into 3 groups of 4. Group Alpha maintained course directly toward Mason. Group Bravo broke east toward Nitze. Group Charlie angled southeast, attempting to pass between the 2 destroyers toward the carrier behind them. This was the moment the engagement changed from a confrontation into a coordinated tactical assault. 3 groups, 3 vectors, 3 simultaneous problems, the same mathematics that had challenged the Lincoln's air defense. Against 3 F-4s now applied on the surface, defensive resources had to be divided. Mason engaged Group Alpha at 6:25, distance 2.1 nautical miles. The 25mm Mk-38 opened fire on the lead boat at 1,800 meters. The first burst struck the water 10 meters short. The second burst hit the lead boat's engine compartment. The boat decelerated immediately, began burning, and veered sharply to starboard, trailing black smoke. The second boat in Group Alpha accelerated to 52 knots and altered course slightly to pass the disabled lead boat. Mason shifted fire. The 25mm engaged the second boat at 1,400 meters. 2 bursts. The first struck the bow, the second penetrated the hull amidships. The boat broke apart at speed, throwing debris across 60 meters of ocean surface. Third boat, engaged at 1,100 meters, destroyed in 3 seconds. Fourth boat in Group Alpha, engaged at 820 meters. This boat had increased speed to maximum 54 knots and was executing evasive zigzag maneuvers. The first 2 bursts missed. The .50 caliber mount on Mason's port side joined the engagement. The combined fire struck the fourth boat at 380 meters from Mason's hull, 380 meters, at 54 knots. That distance represented 14 seconds of additional travel time to physical contact with the destroyer. The boat disintegrated. The nose-mounted warhead detonated on impact with the water, producing a fireball visible from Mason's bridge. Fragments struck the ocean 140 meters from the ship's waterline. No damage to Mason. Simultaneously, USS Nitze engaged Group Bravo at 6:26. Distance at first engagement, 1,600 meters. Nitze's Mk-38 destroyed the first 2 boats within 9 seconds. The third boat in Group Bravo attempted to reverse course at 6:27, turning north at full speed. Nitze's .50 caliber tracked it to 2,400 meters and ceased fire when the boat moved beyond the engagement zone and away from the formation. The fourth boat in Group Bravo was destroyed at 1,200 meters, 3 boats eliminated, 1 retreating. Group Charlie, the 4 boats attempting to pass between the destroyers, encountered a problem they had not anticipated. An MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, launched from Eisenhower at 6:23 and positioned between the destroyer screen and the carrier, engaged Group Charlie with its M240 door guns and AGM-114 Hellfire missiles at 6:27. The first Hellfire struck the lead boat of Group Charlie at 3,200 meters from the carrier. Direct hit, the boat ceased to exist. The second Hellfire destroyed the second boat 4 seconds later. The remaining 2 boats in Group Charlie reversed course immediately, turning north at maximum speed. They were not pursued. At 6:29, the engagement was over. Total time from first warning to final shot, 11 minutes. From weapons-free authorization to last engagement, 7 minutes. The engagement report transmitted to 5th Fleet Headquarters at 6:34. 12 hostile fast attack craft engaged, 9 destroyed, 1 disabled and burning, 2 retreated north, no damage to any U.S. vessel, no injuries to U.S. personnel. Ammunition expended, 340 rounds 25mm, 780 rounds. .50 caliber, 2 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. The Eisenhower strike group did not alter course. It did not reduce speed. It continued its transit through the central Persian Gulf at 16 knots, exactly as planned. The 2 boats that retreated reached Iranian territorial waters at 6:41. They were tracked by radar the entire way. No further contacts emerged from Farsi Island for the next 72 hours. Of the 12 boat crews, an estimated 34 to 38 IRGCN personnel were killed. No bodies were recovered by U.S. forces. Iranian state media reported nothing for 19 hours, then confirmed only that naval exercises had taken place near Farsi Island. No casualty figures were released. This story is not about 12 boats or 25mm chain guns. It is about what Iran's tactical planners learned from those 7 minutes, and what they revealed without intending to. The swarm forced Mason to fire at 1,800 meters. Not at 3,000 meters where the weapons had effective range. Not at 5,000 meters where warning shots could have escalated. At 1,800 meters, that number is now known. The threshold at which a U.S. destroyer transitions from warning to killing is no longer theoretical for Iranian planners. It is documented. It is 1,800 meters with 12 boats inbound. That threshold can be tested, it can be pressured, it can be exploited by a larger swarm that arrives faster from more directions. 12 boats revealed the number. 24 boats might exploit it. The Eisenhower kept sailing. The Persian Gulf remained open. The mathematics of swarm warfare remained unchanged. Do you think Mason's commanding officer made the correct decision engaging at 1,800 meters? Should defensive fire have begun earlier, at 3,000 meters, when the boats ignored the second warning? Or does firing earlier against boats that might still turn away risk an escalation that serves no one? When the threshold between restraint and survival is measured in meters, who decides where the line falls? Leave your analysis in the comments, because in confined waters, the rules of engagement are not just tactical guidelines, they are the difference between deterrence and war,